legalize recreational marijuana and create opportunities for black Americans to succeed in this new industry. So really, she just wants to make it easier for black people to sell drugs and launder money through crypto. Jeez.
Obama by 81. Clinton only won him by 63. Then we're all the way down to Biden last time around by 53. A tremendous drop already. And then you take a look at the average of the most recent polls, and Kamala Harris is up by only 41 points. That is about half the margin that Obama won them by back in November of 2012.
Now, I knew it was going bad for Kamala Harris. Just watching the polls, watching the sentiment in the markets where people choose to bet on these type of things, you knew it was headed in a bad trajectory. Whatever her internal polling looks like, I think it's pretty clear that men hate her, and women hate her. But at the end of the day, this campaign, should Trump prove to be victorious in November, which will require everyone to vote for him and everyone to go get a friend to vote for him, she will blame men. That's what's going to happen. When she doesn't win, if she doesn't win, if they can't burr enough for her, if they can't, pull every shenanigan they can for her, they will blame men, and they will blame specifically black men. I've never seen anything like this. They trotted out Obama to shame black men. I don't think this is unique to black men. I think this is probably unique to men in general, but perhaps it may be so with black men. Generally, when you tell somebody, hey, get in line and do what I tell you to do, they don't react well to that. And that is not going over well in the black community. And in a desperation Hail Mary throw, she's literally now trying to buy black men. I'm not kidding you. We're getting into that whole story after a super quick word from this video sponsor, Private Internet Access. Shout out to this video sponsor, Private Internet Access. Look, it's 2024. If you aren't using a VPN yet, you're completely missing out, and Private Internet Access is the one I use on all of my devices. If you've been following the news, you see that censorship, websites, apps are getting shut down in certain countries, all sorts of craziness. Well, a VPN helps you never have to worry about that. Private Internet Access also protects you from the prying eyes of hackers, internet service providers, and others that can view your personal data. Perhaps also just as importantly, Private Internet Access allows you to access region-restricted content from all over the world. Streaming services like Netflix, Amazon Prime, and more have different library options based on where you're located, and some shows simply cannot be accessed if you're not in the target location. Happens to me all the time. Many sports events also have regional blackouts. Well, VPNs can be a convenient way to make sure you're getting the content that you're paying for. Private Internet Access also allows you to protect an unlimited amount of devices all at the same time, so your entire household with a single subscription. And I've been working with Private Internet Access so long that I have an absolutely massive discount available to my viewers. Link in the description below. Get Private Internet Access today using my link. Save huge, protect your computers, access all the content that you've been paying for, and ensure that your internet is never censored. Just a quick check-in, depending on where you might be sitting today, wherever you might be, in the day, these numbers may have changed. But whatever new polling came out, something has changed. As of this morning, in the poly market, again, this is not votes. You need to vote. Do not wait for anything. This is only meant to give you some hope, because it's still going to take literally everything on the planet to defeat the Democrat machine. This morning, Trump led 53.7 to 45 points. So let's just call it 7. So by 8 points, roughly, in the betting markets. Right now, he leads by 16. 16. He has doubled his lead. Now, it's not his highest lead. In fact, if you go back, at one point, he had nearly a 72% chance, according to Polymarket, when he was running against Joe Biden. My hope is that this continues to spread, that the polls continue to show, and this is still going to come down to voter turnout. Kamala Harris now desperately promises $20 billion in forgivable loans, but exclusively for blacks. The black community, I should say. I don't like saying blacks, but I also don't like saying African Americans. They're just Americans. Like, whatever. Like, I don't know. Obviously, I live in the suburbs. I don't have a lot of black friends. Not that I wouldn't be friends with black folks. I just haven't been around them a lot in my life. But the few that I know, I'm pretty sure they don't want me calling them African American. They'd rather I call them black or just American. But anyway, on Monday, Democratic presidential desperate Kamala Harris unveiled her, quote, opportunity agenda for black men, which includes a plan to give out 1 million completely forgivable loans, meaning free money. By the way, this will never pass. This will literally never pass. It is an absolute PR move. The black community is not going to be fooled by this. On Monday, Harris campaign co-chair Cedric Richmond said in a statement that the agenda is to further realization of Vice President Harris's opportunity economy. This might be the actual first real piece of policy she's rolled out, where people don't just get by, they get ahead, where black men specifically are equipped with the tools to thrive and buy a home and provide for their families, to start a business to build wealth. The plan will give out 1 million loans of $20,000 that are 100% fully forgivable to black entrepreneurs and others who start businesses. The loans would be financed through partnerships with, quote, mission-driven lenders, community banks, and small businesses administration. Who do you think is paying for this? By the way, the rest of the black community is going to pay taxes on this too. So if you're in the black community, you don't get one of these loans, you're paying for one of these loans. If you're in the black community and you get one of these loans, you're still paying for one of these loans. You can't just print money. It has to come from somewhere. Most of the world out there, you know, maybe who aren't as familiar with kind of how inflation and stuff works. I know I wasn't. We all got pretty well educated on it during the lockdowns when our government was printing unending money. Now for the last 4 years, we've all been getting pounded in the rear end without lube by inflation, high gas prices, high grocery prices, high fuel prices, insane interest rates. You see, Kamala's support among black men is so bad, she's now promising to legalize weed and give away free money. Look, I'm all for legalizing it. I know some of my more strictly conservative viewers aren't on the same page. But ultimately, that's not the case. You know, it's wild to me that this is so desperate. So I got distracted there. You see, Democrats can't win solely on their policies, so they have to lie, bribe, cheat, and steal to win. She only talks about minority groups and promises worldwide. She talks about how young people are stupid. She doesn't talk about America. She only picks progressive groups and minorities, promise the world. But look at what she's absolutely done. She's done nothing. She has no policies whatsoever. And you see this, I rarely get offended. This is from Beheezy Tweets. I'm offended by Kamala Harris's agenda for black men. Not only is it degrading, it goes against everything the founding fathers for civil rights leaders have fought for. It's also attempting to bribe black people into voting for her.
So, Kamala Harris released an agenda of things she wants to do for black men. It's not like she was in power for 4 years. It's a list of things that clearly violate the Civil Rights Act. Provide 1 million loans that are fully forgivable up to $20,000 for black entrepreneurs and others to start a business. Support education training and mentorship programs that lead to good paying jobs for black men, including pathways to become teachers. Protect cryptocurrency investments so black men who make them know their money is safe. I guess the blockchain is racist somehow. Launch a national health initiative focused on the illnesses that disproportionately impact black men. We already have those. It's called the gym and a healthy diet. Legalize recreational marijuana and create opportunities for black Americans to succeed in this new industry. So really, she just wants to make it easier for black people to sell drugs. and launder money through crypto. Jeez. I don't know, Kamumbler. Something tells me the Civil Rights Act kind of goes against this whole thing of racial preferencing. I'm hoping by now that every black person knows the handout state has failed the community. If Democrats really want to help the black community, they would support abolishing the welfare state, quit paying disproportionately black people to remain home and be lazy, quit subsidizing single motherhood. They would support shutting down the Department of Education and returning education back to the states and implementing universal school choice, because black illiteracy rates are higher than ever. So the system as is has completely failed. They should also support cutting down the size of the federal government by up to 80%.
Yeah. I mean, they trotted Obama out there to scold black people. And look at this.
And sometimes there's a trend line that I never noticed before and make me go, whoa. This is one. All right, this is the Democratic margin among black men under the age of 45 in presidential elections. You go back to November of 2012, what do you see? You see Obama by 81. Clinton only won him by 63. Then we're all the way down to Biden last time around by 53.
By the way, this is what happens when you keep promising black folks that you're going to help them out. And then 4 years passes, 8 years passes, 12 years passes, 16 years passes, and you don't do anything to help them. You know why that is? It's because the very same things that help black people also help white people and brown Asian people and everyone else. These race-specific promises and programs are flawed at the very core. You uplift black folks by uplifting everybody. And having specific policies for a skin color group is absurd. You need to have policies that help. The idea that only black people live in inner cities and live paycheck to paycheck and this and the other thing is absurd, and black folks know that too. So putting in policies that help everybody who are struggling to get by helps black people. Putting in policies, healthcare policies, whether this, that, and the other thing, that help all people afford healthcare, also help black people. This idea that you're going to help a specific group of people by targeting laws and legislation to a specific group of people doesn't work, hasn't worked.
A tremendous drop already, and then you take a look at the average of the most recent polls, and Kamala Harris is up by only 41 points. That is about half the margin that...
So Kamala Harris's support among the black community is half of what Obama had, and most of the black community feels betrayed by Obama. The idea the black community was sold, like, hey, just elect a black person and they care about you. Well, they found out that Obama didn't remember anything what it was like to be struggling in black, and Kamala Harris doesn't either. Okay, so this idea that you're trying to buy them off with free money isn't going to work. It's calling the black community stupid. That's what Kamala Harris is doing. It's saying, hey, if you vote for me, I'll get you some free money. Am I right? Do you think I just fell out of a coconut tree? Ha 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 ha. Black people aren't stupid. Stupid people are stupid. Okay? You go on a black man's podcast. I don't know. He appears to be perhaps kind of feminine. I'm not sure if he's gay and black, but
seeing, in the polls, and you're seeing black men aren't as, quote, excited or fired up for you. How do you respond to that?
Well, that's not my experience.
Well, you're in denial then. CNN just showed you. The fact that this podcast with The Shade Room, again, some popular, well, I'll put it this way. It doesn't matter if he's gay or not, but he sounds kind of feminine. I'm just saying that would be why Kamala picked him probably. Has 4,000 dislikes to 5,000 likes. Even on a primarily black podcast, they hate you. They don't like you because you're not a woman. They don't like you because you're half Indian, half black. They don't like you because you're an insufferable twat. People don't like you because you're unlikable. Okay? And then you trot Obama out there to accuse black men of sexism. You have this, no thanks, Obama. This black man will make up his own mind and not be shamed into voting for Kamala. Shame is powerful in many ways. It creates a lot of emotions. That's undeniable. But it also creates a huge movement of people who will fight with that emotion to go the other way. Some people say, yeah, fat shaming works. Sure, but it also gets people to dig in harder. Now, will these black people who don't support Kamala Harris ultimately vote for Trump, that I don't know, right? That's how he wins. He needs to get these black voters who have fallen out of love with Democrats. He needs to make a good, strong case for them on why his policies will help them. Just not voting, sure, it helps Trump kind of. But the doubling happens when they stop voting Democrat and they vote for Trump. So we'll see how this desperation move plays out. I'm not too convinced it's going to do anything. Desperation is a stinky cologne. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please subscribe or follow down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.